Hey guys, it's Shay from Polygon Motion, and in this tutorial, let's talk about some widely used expressions and famous expression inside of After Effects. Okay, here I'm in After Effects, and the first expression that we want to talk about is Vigo. Vigo is a very simple expression that you can write for your objects to create a wiggleness and shakiness, animation and motion for your object. Okay, in here I have my ellipse and also a simple background. And I want to create an expression and add an expression to the position properties of this layer. Okay, let's add this. Alt click and delete this and type Vigo like this. Open parentheses, and in here you have to write the speed of your shakiness, for example 10 and 12 like this. When you increase these numbers, your shakiness motion is faster, and when you decrease them, your motion is very slow. Okay, now once you write that, click in here, and you see that it's animated without any keyframes. And when I play that, you see a very nice shakiness animation. And you can, for example, you can use that for creating your camera shakiness to create realistic scenes, for visual effects, for motion graphics. There's lots of ways to use this Vigo expression. And for example, if I increase this number, for example, 60, you see my animation is a lot faster. And with that, it's faster, you see. If I off the motion blur in here, you see without motion blur, like this. And the cool thing that we can add this wiggleness, this expression to any property of layer. For example, I can just cut this and paste it in a scale. Alt click and paste in here. You see that it's applied on a scale and create a shakiness just for a scale of this layer. And you can do for rotation, you can do for opacity, anchor point position, and all those stuffs. Okay, let's talk about another useful expressions, time. Time creates a rotation for your object without any keyframe. Okay, let's go to bar and in rotation. And one thing, keep in mind that time expression is just applied and is only for using to a degree property like rotation. For example, these values are not degree, but rotation is degree. It's just rotating around a degree. For example, 316 degrees and these kind of stuff. It's just applied on a degree and angle values of your objects. Alt click on rotation and type time. Time multiply. And if I write time just with this semicolon, you see it's just rotate my objects and animate it alongside of this duration of comp. And when I just, for example, increase my duration, for example 20, and go in here, drag it in this way, and you see that without any keyframe, it's just keep going and it's not stopping. And let's go to time, and you can also do multiplication and divide it, for example, with numbers with time. So for example, I'm just using time multiply, for example, 20, and you see that it is faster than previous one because it takes all those time of our composition and multiply it with 20. And in this case, we have a faster rotation. And it's very handy, very helpful. Without any keyframe, without any manual keyframing, we can take this result. Okay, and let's talk about another one. The another expression is loop. For example, let's imagine we have keyframes like this. And zoom in like this, and we want to continue this motion like a blinking object up to end of this composition. We can do that with manual keyframing, for example, Control C and Control V in here, and up to the end we can just Control C and Control V, copy pasting. But it takes a lot of time for complex motion. It takes a lot of time, and when you have a lot of duration in your composition, it's not a good way to use. Okay, the other things that we can do is that add an expression called loop out. A loop out takes your keyframes, your existing keyframes, and loop it out up to the end of your composition. And for this, we must have an keyframe at the starting point of our object. Without keyframe, we can do any looping because we don't have anything to loop it out. Okay, at the first, create your keyframes for any property that you want, and then by holding Alt and clicking on this stopwatch, add a expression like this: loop out and open and close parentheses. Now, when I grab through that, you see I have a looped animation, and it's very helpful. It's continued up to the end of your project. When you change your duration, it's also continued without any stopping. And the cool thing about expressions that you can have expression on the properties that you have keyframes on that. For example, you see that I have keyframes in scale and I have expression already on that properties, and it's very cool. Let's talk about another expression. This expression is called math. For example, we want to create a random number in here without any, for example, manual creating source text or keyframing or these kind of stuffs. Just go to the source text of your text layer, create a text layer, and go to source text. And in here, just alt click. Once you alt click, we can now use our expression called mat.random, or you can just use random also, like this: random, open and close. You see that I have my random numbers, and the cool thing about this is that we can just define the range of these numbers. For example, we want numbers from 0 to 100. Just type 100 in here, and now you have numbers from 0 to 100, or maybe 100 divided to 3. Any kind of operation you can do, mathematical operation, you can use plus. You see that. It's very, very cool. And the cool thing about this that you can round these numbers also. For example, we want to see only this part of the number, just this int numbers, not this floating point. For this, I'm just creating a new variable like this, for example, number, num, and like this, and enter to go to the next line, and type in here mat dot round, open parentheses, and type your variable name that contains your random numbers, and close the parentheses. And now you have your rounded number in here, and you can use that, for example, creating infographics, screens, and different other stuffs. You can do that with these expressions. Don't forget to check out other Polygon motion videos on the YouTube channel, and there's a lot of tutorials on motion graphic and also visual effects. And see you guys next time.